ولا شفعت لهم الراية البيضاء ولا طفولة الطفل.
أحيانا إحنا صرنا موجودين في بيوتنا ويعني مش فاهمين إيش بصير، ونكون بنحكي بدنا اطلعوا بدنا نخلي اطلعوا ولا في مواصلات.
على أساس قلت أنا صغير محدش بيقول في شيء. بقول أنا كيف يعني مع راية بيضاء وطفل زي هذا ينطخ في رجله؟ تعال يابا تعال قوم. قام سند حاله على ركبه ضربوه طلقين ثانيين، واحد في صفحته وواحد في رقبته وقلبوه خفيف. قام ماكل الطلق في قلبه. ده المفروض
أنا هذا الحين لما أولاد ارتموا مش قادرين.
That's so crazy. They couldn't even grab their sons' bodies.
صورت اخواتي عشان ما انساهمش. انا عملت هيك عشان اضل احفظها في قلبي، عشان تشوفوا كيف جرائم الاحتلال. واحد طالع برايه بيضة قتلوه وهو طفل، واخوه رايح ينجدوا مهانش عليه، راحوا كوموه فوق.
ولا شفعت لهم الراية البيضاء ولا طفولة الطفل.
أحيانا إحنا صرنا موجودين في بيوتنا ويعني مش فاهمين إيش بصير، ونكون بنحكي بدنا اطلعوا بدنا نخلي اطلعوا ولا في مواصلات.
على أساس قلت أنا صغير محدش بيقول في شيء. بقول أنا كيف يعني مع راية بيضاء وطفل زي هذا ينطخ في رجله؟ تعال يابا تعال قوم. قام سند حاله على ركبه ضربوه طلقين ثانيين، واحد في صفحته وواحد في رقبته وقلبوه خفيف.
موجود طفل هذا عايش. وين عمو وين خالك؟ ايش في فوق راسك؟
حصل كبير
بس راسك يا بس انا مش شايف.
That's crazy. 70% of Gaza's homes are destroyed, and thousands are believed to still be alive trapped under the rubble or dying. It could cost at least $15 billion to rebuild. At least. At least.
We defend Ottawa, stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people.
60 times. They took our people in us. The soldiers came here to Varna, to Napier, and they took my people from here. And they were imprisoned over in the Vaticani.
Everyone, this is Visan from Gaza. It's the day 23 of continuous bombing. I'm smiling because I'm alive, and this is surprising for me because the last couple of nights were really hard, especially after the internet and cellular connections, everything was cut up. I'm at the hospital, the Shifa hospital. I'm evacuating here, living in a tent for almost 3 weeks now. I'll show you now how people are living inside the shelter. So, first thing that people do when they wake up is to go to the bathrooms because there are long lines. But I wake up at 4 a.m. so I can avoid the lines. This is the scene of the Shifa hospital, the emergency. Can you imagine that this is... Ya Allah. Can you imagine that this is not a market, this is not a street, this is a hospital? People are living here inside the buildings and in corridors and the patients' rooms. So continuous bombing, continuous emergency. People are sleeping and are evacuating to Shifa more and more every day here. I know that I seem to be energetic and smiling, but it's not the truth. We're just trying to be positive because we felt death hundreds of times, so we appreciate that we are alive until now. So Muhammad Karam Maher are cleaning Shifa Hospital, the place that they took as a shelter by themselves. They are volunteering. These are our heroes, our kids. برافو شباب، كملوا كملوا. هلا. ألف مبروك. من وين جبت هدول الأغراض؟ زبطت معك تجيب خبز ومي مع بعض؟ يلا مبروك، اشري يلا. I'm now at the street near the Shifa hospital trying to have some water, some bread, or anything else like thousands. For example, I'm now near to Al-Ailat Bakery. Look at the line.
Damn.
So this is the food I got today. I had here some cheese, but I ate the cheese before eating the bread. The bread is very old because there's no bakeries opening since 3 days. This is the first water I'm drinking since 8 a.m. Now it's 3 p.m. It's only 200
Oh my
milliliters.
God.
People here in Gaza are thirsty more and more every day. So a group of tents, like tent holders, my neighbors, my new neighbors, agreed to have some electricity, a limited amount of electricity during the night. So during the night we charge the power banks, the phones, any other stuff we need. As we're living in the garden of the hospital now, making our tent here, these are our shelves. We use the trees to hang our stuff. Let me introduce to you Farah, and she evacuated the home with us to the tent. She's our tent mate. It's now finally bedtime. Let me take some seconds for your time to let you hear the war band's sounds. Anyways, let me show you. Oh my god. They started the bombing early tonight. Let me show you guys. Where am I now? In the place that I'm sleeping. I used to sleep in a really good, comfortable, beautiful room full of my memories and thoughts and plans and stuff and everything. احكي لنا شو اسمك؟ عاصم. كم عمرك يا عاصم؟ انقصف بيتكم؟ ايش حكى لكم؟ اطلعوا. طب في حدا صار له شيء من العيلة؟ مين؟ استشهدوا؟ She can't open her eyes, but she's alive. No one knows until now her family. No one survived except her. If anyone knows anybody about her, just call us. She's in the Shifa hospital now. We were telling you guys that the nights are hard, but now the days are harder too. Everyone is carrying injuries and murdered people from the streets because the carpet bombings happened in the streets without any warning, and people are killed at every single moment. This is a really tough day that Gaza are going through.
I pray for her every day because they kidnapped Mansour. She's one of the few people that are there. She was just at that door 2 minutes before they bombed her. She's 25 years old. She's a social media influencer.
شوية مش قادرة تتعامل مع أي مصادر ثانية. القانون الوزارة مهمة المخازن فضيت الوقود يبي يخلص فلازم نطلع.
All this smoke behind me is because of the bombing of a home near to Shifa hospital. So now we have to stay awake to be protected and to avoid any bombing near to us or near to our tent. This is the situation.
It's crazy how much restraint she shows.
At 12 p.m., at 1, 2, 3, 4 p.m., also at 6 p.m., and the bombing increases as well during the night. And basically, I don't have any safe place to go. Now we're in danger, even inside Shifa Hospital. No one is safe here. We are all afraid.
What makes Bisan's journalism so powerful is how emotional she is and how you really do see her humanity. She compels you to feel what she's feeling. Most journalists just plainly explain something, but she cannot. She's not a journalist by nature. She's a social media influencer, and this is her life. She's not sugarcoating anything. So her reporting is very emotional. Damn. Israelis settling into Palestinian homes after it's been raided by the IOF. They're literally running off a bus to go load into this house that they settled in. Saying dibs. Like, how can you live with yourself? I really don't understand how these people can live with themselves. It's disgusting. It is really disgusting.
Represents both resistance and persistence of Palestinian identity. Now, you may have seen this dance pop up at protests calling for a ceasefire in Gaza.
It's very natural that dance would have a very integral part in any protest. We've seen that in different locations around the world. Dance is a way of physically expressing the vitality of the people who are being oppressed, because one of the main things the oppressor wants to do, the colonizer wants to do, is to suggest an absence of vitality in the people they're oppressing.
A dance and style of martial arts known as capoeira came out of Brazil, and it was a way for them to pass messages to one another and speak to one another without their slave masters knowing. But at one point in history, capoeira was even banned by the Brazilian government, and you could not practice it. So like, we have actually aired footage on the Leon Block and different iterations of Brazilians performing capoeira, and it's really cool. Like, if you ever see the people, like, they'll do a spin around on their hands and then they'll put their feet up in the air and they're like kind of like they're battling, but they're like slow motion. That's capoeira, and they typically wear white. When we cover footage from Odunde every year, I like to make sure that I always catch, there's a crew that comes up from Brazil and they perform it for people, but it's an Afro thing. So it derived from Africans practicing a way to protest or pass information or also still feel connected. So what he's saying is very true. Like, dance is a way to do a lot, but it is a way to stay resilient despite everything you have going on.
That's Nicholas Rowe, a professor in dance studies at the University of Auckland and a UNESCO chair on dance and social inclusion. Rowe lived in occupied Palestinian territories for 8 years and hosted dance workshops for Palestinian children in refugee camps. AJ Plus spoke to him about the dabka and the role dance has played in resistance movements. Dabka means to stomp the feet and is a dance native to historic Palestine, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. Some Palestinians believe their struggle is not only about Israel's confiscation of their land, but also cultural erasure. And dabka has been used as a form of cultural resistance and asserting Palestinian identity for generations. Throughout the British Mandate, Palestinians danced the dabka in opposition to a growing Zionist presence in Palestine and Britain's violent repression of Palestinian nationalism. After the violent expulsion of the majority of Palestinians in 1948, dabka dances were crafted to tell the tales of the demolished villages.
Subsequently, in the 1980s, various different dabka groups grew up and started to perform dabka at all sorts of events and public performances, opportunities in which they could show, look, this is the dance that comes from the people of Palestine.
Dabka is just one way Palestinians have protested human rights violations while celebrating their unity. Indigenous communities around the world often employ traditional dances to assert their identity and stand in solidarity in the face of external pressures.
It's much more preferable probably for all colonizers to see the historic indigenous population's culture as very static and saying, oh no, they're just very old-fashioned, they're in that period. But no, the dabka is a form of expressing both that resilience, but also that sense of, oh, we can come up with new ideas and new stories and respond to new realities through the ways that we dance.
Videos online have drawn parallels between the dabka and other traditional indigenous dances used at protests. The similarities lie not in only the moves, but also the dance's abilities to tell stories, convey a sense of community, and resist attempts to erase or marginalize cultural identities. But some still say that dancing has no place during protests, that it weakens the gravity of the situation.
I'd say those people are colonized, because basically what they're doing is following a colonial ideal that dance is frivolous. Because it's a Western concept. Dance is a more frivolous art form. Dance is just a celebratory art form. Dance is just something you do to look pretty and beautiful. Those are all very Western concepts.
Yes.
Within all Indigenous communities, we see dance pervades life in so many different rituals, activities, processes, in funerals, in weddings.
Yep.
You go to an Aboriginal funeral, it's filled with dance. And dance is our way of physically embodying that. And also saying, yeah, we can protest and show our anger, our frustration, our despair, our sadness, all through our moving body.
Colleagues, and we talked about what's happened at the protests this week. Have called the president Genocide Joe. Some of your colleagues have accused the president of supporting genocide, including Rashida Tlaib. Do you agree with that word, genocide, that the president's been supporting genocide, or does that go too far?
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear what she say too.
I think what we are seeing right now throughout the country is that young people are appalled at the violence and the indiscriminate loss of life. We are not just seeing 25,000 people that have died in Gaza. We are seeing the starvation of millions of people, the displacement of over 2 million Gazans. We have South Africa that has mounted a court in the ICJ. The ICJ ruled this week that Israel has a grave responsibility to prevent genocide.
They're still determining whether it's a genocide. Do you think that
they are still determining it?
That it's still under investigation?
I believe that they're still determining it, but in the interim ruling, the fact that they said there's a responsibility to prevent it, the fact that this word is even in play, the fact that this word is even in our discourse, I think demonstrates the mass inhumanity that Gazans are facing. And so whether you are an individual that believes this is a genocide, which, by the way,
some of your colleagues, and we talked about what's happening.
So the caption says, can't help but remember when AOC said, quote, until America tells the truth itself, we're never going to heal. Yet here she is refusing to tell the truth and accept the responsibility we need to begin to heal. Maybe she'd prefer the killing and cleansing of Palestinians from Gaza now that, no doubt, the West Bank is next, so that we can create our own narrative to avoid accountability. Good old AOC. Let me just share this one with y'all real quick for some fun. I want to know who told her this was okay. All right. Enough of that. I tell you, these colonizers, comrades, revolutionaries, and truth seekers, welcome to another episode of the Colonizer's Coffin, giving you blunt discussion, real news, cynical takes on pop culture, and raw history, no chaser. I am your host, John Tell. Let us embark on a journey through time and truths that shape our world, from the untold stories of history to today's pressing issues. This is the space where knowledge meets revolution. Together, let's explore the narratives that have been hidden, discuss the challenges we face, the stuff we don't discuss enough, and maybe unravel the mysteries that surround us. We're not just observers. Remember, we are active participants in the revolution of knowledge. So, please hit that like button and share this stream. Follow us on all our platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, Twitch, Spotify. Just search the Leon Block. So, the truth is all around us. It is your job. It is your job to inform yourself, not the government, and especially not the mainstream media. The mainstream media wants to keep you distracted, keep you scared, and hungry for more sadness and fear. I seek to inform you, but I don't seek to scare you. Tons of information every second is coming out via ordinary citizens, but I don't seek to who want to share information with the world. That information can be quite sobering at times, I know. But that information can lead to enlightenment. So don't be afraid. Seize the power through embracing knowledge. Once you know better, you do better, right? Come out the dark. Stand in the light with us. Many of us need light. Many of us need your help. The Palestinian people need our help. Do not turn a blind eye, because silence is violence. I want to share some stories, accounts, evidence, and statistics with you today. I know I talk a lot about Palestine, but it's an issue we should all be informed on and take note of, because if we don't, it will end up becoming our issue whether we want it to or not. So Amina Ghanem, 13-year-old girl, said, quote, "We were sleeping and we heard the sound of tanks when they came and walked over the caravan in which I, my father, and my brothers lived. Her father and siblings were brutally killed after an Israeli army tank ran over her family several times while being trapped under the rubble of their home," like saying that they ran over it, backed up, and ran over it again and again. Quote, "These eyes have only seen them in horror movies, black eyes bleeding from extreme pressure. I want you to remind yourselves what you were and are doing at 13. Amina shouldn't have to be facing this every day. She should not be witnessing her family getting ran over. How can anyone look at this and think Israel is just defending themselves?" wrote an internet user. I want to find... I know I have it, so just give me a second and I will pull it up for you, because I want y'all to see this this woman's eyes, this girl's eyes. Amina received an invitation to evacuate and to receive treatment outside of Gaza, but she won't leave without taking her siblings with her, as her father and sister were killed by an Israeli shelling. I know I have a link somewhere. Oh, goodness, maybe I don't. I know I have it somewhere. Just give me a moment. Here we go. Alright, so this is Amina. Look at her eyes. They're black and red. She was crushed so hard that her eyes turn black, and she could go blind if she does not get treatment. She said, quote, they have poured down white phosphorus. Oh, excuse me. Separate topic. And I don't want to go into that just yet. But there, as of now, from the last time I checked, they are trying to get her to get treatment, but she won't leave without her family. So we will keep you posted on what happened, if her family's able to come with her, or if she got treatment or what. But you can check Instagram for more information on Amina. I'm gonna be right back. We'll take a commercial break, and then I'll get into some more information for you guys.
Isn't a life of passion really what we all want to aspire to have, to live for? Life of passion, life of passion, life of passion. Life of passion, the one that we should all
These are the common questions that I have. These are the common questions that I have. These are the common questions that I have. These are the common questions that I have.
Deprogramming takes months. Deprogramming takes months.
These are the common questions that I have.
Deprogramming takes months.
These are the common questions that I have.
Deprogramming takes months.
Ignorance, ignorance, ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is. Anxiety is future. Anxiety is future. Anxiety is future. He is future. He is future. Depression is past. Depression is past. Depression is past. Bad.
In Rwanda, I got 2 gallons of gas in the backseat, been a ridge of fleas. I got that zoot suit boot juice, yeah, kill you with a fingernail. There's air raid sirens in residential villages, wholesale slaughter, sons and daughters just because of their parentage, heritage, need a hermitage, pilgrimage, cleanse your sins, you bathe in the blood of innocence, it's a reticence to confess, there is no remembrance for those bled.
Rise against the system, rise and fight, fight for the dreams, the children, the hurt, hunger, lost souls from cancer's addictions, slavery and sins, fight for the lost friends, fight for the love, the kind that comes from within, the truth won't be lost, I will fight for all are to win.
See, all I want is love, and you want it all the time, could be our space and envy, I'd surely let you borrow mine, so should we take a gambit, spin 3 sevens in a line, just share our space and envy, I'm sure we'd turn out fine. All you want is love, and you want it all the time. Take my space and envy, don't forget that this one's mine.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
We were talking about memorizing stuff. I think I do better memorizing things with the aesthetic, emotions of my.
Palestine will be free! that American dream is. Because there's more people that live that type of fucking American reality.
Rich foils of plunder and escape reality's view. Prices rise a time or two in the land where Jack was roam. One didn't have such a dark fate. The heart of the city is where not just leaves but shadows fall. It's also where struggles and battles hold us all. This is about rising up against all odds and mountains around against all despair. This city is a tale of hope's flame ignited in the air.
That's right.
New Jack City is what they call this domain.
Reflection ain't nothing but the inner child trying to see you. You gonna look? You gonna pick up that book? Self-reflection. Give me another lesson. Growth and strife. Line stripes in life minds. Get the high. Cause it may only be for this. What they say? Time. Don't forget you have sight. Insight. Get high off the truth, seek the root. Feel the flame within you, seek the fruit. Give the boot to the ones licking the boot.
How can I stand out even in a crowded space? A vibrant display of distinctiveness, a unique tailored trace. Reflecting on my identity, my soul starts to understand the allure of this divergence, a unique orchestration.
Apartheid is exactly what's going on. Yeah, Everyone else was there to report the stories. They want to make sure that information gets out and that these horrific. Yo, welcome back. So make sure you go get that new EP from Trip Young. Alright, so I'm going to jump right back into it. Y'all know I have been talking a lot about Palestine, so that's what I'm going to continue talking about. I think I'm going to wrap up things talking about Palestine. So they have poured down white phosphorus on children. And I'm not sure if many people know about this, or if you even know what white phosphorus is or what it does. And the fact that this is being put on children is what is the most alarming, right? So, have you taken a moment to consider the experiences of a child born into unconscionable oppression and trauma, only to be mutilated by chemical weapons? If you do not oppose this, you are broken. Those are the words of a Twitter user. So it's just not just one or a few people. These are the average accounts that I'm seeing on a regular basis about the status quo, of how people feel about the status quo. People are disgusted. more than 100 cars decorated with Palestinian flags stretched along a highway in New Orleans for a January 28th memorial motorcade. Memorial motorcade. Wow, that's a in honor of a Palestinian American teen who was fatally shot in the occupied West Bank. The 17-year-old was killed January 19th by Israeli fire while driving with a friend to a picnic, and allegedly he was hit in the back of the truck, and allegedly shots hit the back of the truck and he was struck in the head. The teen was born and raised in Louisiana and was temporarily visiting the West Bank with his family to learn more about his Palestinian roots during his senior year of high school. Israel is massacring Palestinians in the city of Khan Yunis, where it told them to flee. And after destroying most of the northern Gaza areas and ethnically cleansing Palestinians living there, Israel has been relentlessly bombing southern Gaza, where it ordered them to flee to. And I've been saying this for weeks, that they're evacuating people, quote unquote, air quotes, evacuating people to other areas, and then they go to those areas and then they get bombed. But this is still happening after they said that they wouldn't, or that they're not, but they are. We see this. And even through blackouts, we're still seeing this. Blackouts aren't stopping all the information from getting out. We still know what's going on to an extent, and it doesn't mean that we can't imagine what is going on. It's just, I feel like these people, Israeli government and Zionists and settlers, I feel like they share a delusion. Yeah, they share a delusion. The Israeli military's targeting of civilians and civilian infrastructure has been particularly devastating in Khan Yunis, which is Gaza's second largest city, where hundreds of thousands of Palestinians that were forced out of northern Gaza have sought safety in. Israel is violently displacing these Palestinians yet again. Israel's war crimes in Khan Yunis, attacking a UN building twice where hundreds of Palestinians were sheltering, killing at least 18 and injuring at least 75, attacking Nasser Hospital, the last fully functioning hospital in Gaza, invading and besieging other hospitals. Snipers have also been shooting and killing Palestinian civilians, preventing ambulances from transporting the injured and dead. And we have footage of this that we aired on Instagram. If you check our story, we posted it there, where they are actually assaulting EMTs and doing who knows what else to them. Shit is driving me fucking nuts. I don't have a lighter anywhere. So we aired it on our Instagram story. Go check it out. And they've bombed near distribution centers where Palestinians are getting what little aid they're able to get, because as we know, they are preventing aid from getting in. Even Zionist groups of, to me, it's racist ass people. Major brands and companies are profiting from prison labor. Prison workers have said it's like slavery, but it's completely legal. A 2-year-long Associated Press investigation found that $200 million worth of agricultural sales from correctional facilities to businesses over the last 6 years. Many incarcerated people in the U.S. are forced to work during their sentences, and even some work on the same plantations where enslaved people labored more than 150 years ago. Others are leased out to private companies. And a former inmate at a maximum security prison farm in Louisiana said men on horseback will supervise the labor, and they were beaten and given little to no water. Some women that are prisoners were working at fast food chains or were hired out to individuals like ordinary people. So, when you see that Karen in the grocery mart, it is definitely fair to wonder if she has slaves working for her at home. That is not far-fetched. It's not far-fetched at all. And companies also use prison labor, and I'll get to that in a moment. They can sometimes become eligible for tax credits. We need to end the slavery clause in every state constitution. Let's talk about it. We need a whole new overhaul. And so there's a story I'm going to get into probably tomorrow, because I'm still doing some research on it, where there is a very troubled person, and they happen to be a white male. So, we're not going to take them for their word for anything, but their sentiment behind it, what they actually are saying about the government. They are saying some very true things about the government, and we're gonna cover it. I don't want to give too much information. It is a little bit of a disturbing story, but I know we're gonna cover it here on the Colonizer's Coffin. So the 13th Amendment, as y'all know, allows slavery as punishment for convicted crimes. And y'all know the clause, right? Please tell me y'all know the clause. Have y'all watched The 13th? The documentary by Ava DuVernay. If you haven't, I highly suggest you go check it out. It will definitely get you up to speed on what I'm talking about here. But neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Meaning, if you happen to be imprisoned, convicted of a crime in the United States, anywhere in the United States, you can be still, therefore, enslaved. Where they do that at? United States of America. The land of the so-called free, only unless you are convicted of a crime. Which, how many people are convicted of a crime? United States has the largest prison population per capita in anywhere in the world. Over 2 million people. The population of Philadelphia itself is locked up, and you already know most of those people are black. Across the U.S., incarcerated individuals work for free, but they can eventually earn cents per hour. Kind of shit. Angola Maximum Prison in Louisiana pays prisoners between 2 to 40 cents an hour after they initially work for free. And 65% of those prisoners are black. Refusal to work could result in retaliation, parole delays, or solitary confinement. U.S. prison workers produced more than $2 billion worth of goods and services in 2021. Supermarkets like Aldi, Kroger, Target, and Whole Foods have bought goods produced by prison labor. McDonald's said they would investigate links to prison labor. Tyson said its work programs are voluntary and inmates receive equal pay to civilians. Whole Foods said it did not permit products created by prison laborers in its stores. A reminder that genocide in Gaza is still raging, and journalists being assassinated and targeted by Israel is all part of a concerted effort to halt the documentation of war crimes. A lack of videos on your feed doesn't mean that the situation has fundamentally changed. And I said this before. Because Palestinians have been killed, actually more than 400 of them, in the 48 hours since the ICJ ruling was set. Israeli settlers are blocking aid from entering. As of 3 days ago, only 87 of the intended 150 trucks entered into the Gaza Strip in Gaza City. 50 Palestinians were shot while waiting for what little did get in, and hospitals in Khan Yunis have been besieged to the point of collapse, and yet Israel is losing. It's losing its military, having failed to achieve a single strategic victory. It's losing in the court of public opinion as the global solidarity with Palestine continues to grow. It's losing control of its own citizens as collective faith in government rapidly erodes, as its security apparatus and economy become undone. Israel forces raided a hospital in Jenin, but disguised as medical staff and civilians. Israeli soldiers used assault rifles to kill 3 Palestinian men in their sleep inside the hospital. Hamas said that the 3 men killed were Palestinian fighters and at least one of them was receiving treatment. It is illegal to turn civilian. It is illegal to commit these kinds of crimes within conflict zones, in hospitals, or turning hospitals into conflict zones. You get what I'm saying. And this attack took place in the hospital's rehabilitation ward where the men were sleeping. It left areas of the hospital destroyed with bloodstains covering the floor and equipment. And this is not the first time Israeli forces have raided and targeted the Jenin hospital since October 7th. In November, Israeli forces and tanks surrounded the hospital during a raid on the city, and they forced medical staff to put their hands up and evacuate the hospital. Violence against Palestinians in the occupied West Bank is surging, and on January 18th, the national security minister even visited undercover agents who are committing violence against Palestinian civilians. He told Israeli troops to shoot Palestinians even if they don't pose a threat. Israel has killed at least 378 Palestinians in the West Bank since October 7th. Even CNN is exposing Israel propaganda, running a story about a cemetery that was destroyed by the IOF, and their justifications were false. Let me run some statistics by you real quick. It would take 995 years to rebuild every home in Gaza. If you could rebuild one home every day, Israel's destruction of homes has created 8 million metric tons of rubble, and it would take over 21,000 years to remove all the debris in Gaza if 1 metric ton was cleared every day. 625,000 children have been out of school for 115 days, and children make up just 47%, over 47% actually of Gaza's population. And they have experienced, and what they've experienced is a combined 340,589 years of war and bombardment since October 7th. An estimated 20,700 babies have been born in Gaza since Israel began its siege, and these newborns, that's 2,700 babies have been born in Gaza since Israel began its siege. These newborns have spent their entire lives surrounded by death, displacement, and destruction. Also, these children have suffered amputations and will need a combined 500 years of rehabilitation. Over 1,000 children have lost one or more limbs due to Israel's bombardment. 70% of people in Gaza are descended from refugees displaced by the Nakba 75 years ago. I want to run back that one thing about an estimated 2,700 babies. I want to go double check that because I'm not really sure. I got to check my notes really quick. A video has also surfaced of European Zionists racing to relocate their gear into Palestinian homes just to shout dibs like it's some real estate Olympics. Check it out via the Instagram page, and I did air it earlier in this episode. I love y'all. Remember, the fight for Palestine is a fight against imperialism, which is a fight that we all are involved in, as this world and economy and everything is global. Gonna get out of here, y'all. Make sure you catch us on Facebook, X, Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram. As we reach the end of another episode, I want to thank each and every one of you, our incredible audience, for joining this journey. Your engagement, questions and thoughts make revolutionary narratives what it is. And remember, the revolution doesn't end here. Stay curious, question the narratives, continue seeking the truth, share your insights. Let's build a community that thrives on knowledge and understanding. And remember, the coffin is open until the case is closed. Don't forget to tune in next time for another chapter of Revelations. Until then, stay revolutionary, y'all.